Hey, bro.
Wow. There you go. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the April 15, 2026 meeting of the Milburn Township Charter Study Commission, which is called to order. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, be advised that the notice of this meeting was made by posting on the township website that this meeting would take place at the Bauer Center at 12 o'clock on Wednesday, April 15, 2026. Meeting details and draft agenda has been posted. Corey, since you're not here, you still want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
What the heck? Sure, why not?
Please, everyone, please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Corey. Okay. I will now call a roll call to note those present.
Mr. Biller?
Present.
Dr. Connie is present. Ms. Parker-Lund?
Present.
Mr. Tena?
Present.
Mr. Drucker?
Here.
I know we also have Council Suzanne Sabasco, King Mention Collins in attendance.
The record will show that we have a quorum for this meeting. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Good. Second,
Second.
Joanna, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, may I have a motion to approve the minutes on March 22, March 26, and March 31, 2026 meetings?
So moved.
Good. Second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. May I have a motion to authorize payment of invoices for Suzanne only?
Am I allowed to second that one?
Only can legal services of Kin, Monash and Collins LLP, March 31. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
All right, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any commissioners with reports since our last meeting? Commissioners? No, thank you. Are there any other reports? No. All right, first, public comment. To speak during the public comment period, please follow these instructions. Ensure your Zoom display name shows your first and last name. Click the raised hand button when a public comment is announced. You will be called upon in order and promoted to the panelists. Turn on your video when called to speak. Clearly state your full name and whether you are a Millburn resident or business owner. To facilitate an orderly meeting and permit all to be heard, please limit your comments to 3 minutes. A reminder that the public comment period is an opportunity for residents to share their views with the commission. Commissioners will not respond to questions or engage in dialogue during the speaking time, but will carefully consider all comments.
What do you want me to do?
Now we can see you.
So I'm Trina Franco, Short Hills resident. I guess my only concern is I believe that the more information voters have, the better democracy is empowered, and the more time they have to consider things, the more they are empowered. So my concern is that the election for this is so fast. I would leave as much time as possible to get the information out there. I think it's a difficult subject. It's complicated. I would love to see community roundtables where we discuss it together, back and forth, argue with each other, debate each other, and then vote. And then whatever we vote, we all agree on. I think that's how democracy works. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have a comment?
My name is Jeffrey Phil. I'm also a Short Hills resident. I want to thank you for allowing us to observe this historical moment, which has been a very open, transparent process. And I really want to compliment the study commission, because since you were formed and since every meeting we've had, since December, the public has had an opportunity to comment, to understand the process. And I think at this point, to hear comments that people did not understand the process, we hold various public forums. And I think one thing you might want to further explain is after you take your official action on the final report and the question that's to be on the referendum, just explain where the papers have to be filed and within the election educational process. I think we're giving the public 60 days to be educated. If you look at the demographics of this community, they're probably one of the most highly educated communities in the state. And I think with the information that you have already posted and with this report being posted probably within 24 minutes of adoption, the public will be able to start educating what the issues are. And again, I want to compliment you for how open and transparent this process has been, and being able to observe a historical moment in the history of this township.
Thank you.
Yeah. Should we go online first, or it's up to the chair?
Jamie? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you.
You were late, Jamie.
My name is Venkat Bala. I would like to thank the commission that has been formed for non-partisan election, because I think so with the overall picture related to the politics, it's become very partisan and very tribal. And Millburn has taken the first steps driving through this forum of creating non-partisan elections. We did have an ability to vote in November to select this quorum of people, 6 of them. So people did have 5 of them. Thank you. We did have a chance to cast our ballots to have this commission form. And of course, we do need to understand that the more that things stagnate, there is not going to be any decisions made. I like the way in which the committee has come together and made these recommendations related to having non-partisan, and I'm very much in favor of it. One thing is that it would bring down the temperature of partisan politics, but most importantly, it enhances the community and volunteerism from current residents who feel that they are not in for this partisan politics. But if it is non-partisan, we are going to have much higher participation. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ceruto, you have something to say?
Yes, I do. I wanted to commend the commissioners for their extensive work. You've held meetings nearly every week for the entire year of 2026. I think any notion that there was not information sessions or available information out there is just doesn't make any sense because you have had opportunities on different days of the week. Zoom options. I've tuned in from my various travels and also in person. And I just want to say I think this is a monumental day for the township. I was just having lunch at Oscars, and I walked over here, and conversations about work we're doing on the street there, and conversations regarding traffic lights and street lights that are out, and questions about flood mitigation all came up with different residents of all different stripes. And it was really wonderful that the partisan politics didn't come up in any way, except maybe the TV set that was in Oscars, but which was News 12 New Jersey, and there was a train derailment. I'm learning about all this very quickly, but I would just say that that shows me and proves to me that my conversations as an elected official have been purely about local politics, and the path to get me to my seat should not involve a party. And so I fully support it, and I'm really excited to see this in action.
Frank, can you do me a favor? Can you get that woman a
Okay,
chair?
you want to take my
Yeah,
chair?
yeah.
Here, let me see if we got an extra.
We have plenty of chairs. Yeah, we're Milburn Township.
I'll-
Jamie gives them chair.
No, oh, yeah, let's have somebody from.
Alex has been raised his hand for a very long time, so let's.
Yeah, please, yes.
Okay, so Alan's agreeing.
Alex, you're up between maybe.
All right.
Oh,
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Hey, Gordon. You guys all right? All right. I just want to thank the commissioners for taking the time to thoroughly evaluate this critically important decision. As a former elected official on the Board of Education, I'm grateful for the historic opportunity to finally rid our town of partisan elections. There are 4 important points I want to make. 1, partisan elections should have no place in town government. While elected town officials can certainly align with political parties, this should have no basis for choosing them solely based on political party affiliation. People in Milburn simply must vote based on a person's merits and qualifications. You shouldn't have to get permission from political party officials to run for office. The system works every single year across 529 school districts in New Jersey. Nonpartisan elections work is simply beyond dispute. The second thing is, so many times I've experienced people who simply don't take the time to get to know the candidates and just vote for party and local elections. This creates a de facto single party majority government in areas where there are clearly political party majorities, allowing national political parties to maintain power at scale. It's time to retire this antiquated system. What we need are the most qualified candidates to run for local elections without state or national political baggage that, again, has nothing to do with Milburn. Let's talk about ballots. The ballots for general elections are still printed with political party lines in Essex County. However, nonpartisan ballots break this blatantly unfair practice, and I expect our ballots to look like Ridgewood and South Orange, where people are voting for the person, not for the party. Again, helping to get rid of partisan voting and single party control. And yes, this will incentivize people to learn more about candidates rather than blindly voting by party line. Sends a message: people are more important than party. And finally, the updated count of 7 elected officials is the right decision. This will lead to more oversight and, more importantly, allow committees of 3 people to be formed. Today, only 2 township committee members can meet to discuss town business. It's time to make this change for Millburn and increase governance and oversight. Thanks again to the commissioners for volunteering to take on this historically important and urgent issue for our town.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, Cheryl Damaris. I really just have a question. I'm trying to dig deeper into your recommendations and understand how you got to those. And so I want to know, this report that's being released is your recommendations, which I know what those are at a high level. I know you conducted surveys and interviews, and I know the interviews were confidential, so I'm not looking.
No, they're not.
Public, Cheryl.
So
Okay, well, what
They
I'm.
were recorded, so if you watch the videos, you'll see it.
Wait, so when you interviewed a former mayor, those interviews
Everything's
are?
on,
Everything's
okay,
on.
if you watched all the videos, you'll see everything's on.
Every
the-
interview, even.
Except there
just-
were a few people who didn't wanna be, who were
Okay.
former TC, like 2 former TC, well, 1 current, 1 former, just didn't wanna be recorded.
Right, well, what I'm
Everything
wondering
else is
is if
recorded.
I have access actually
it,
to you,
yes.
not to that, not to the individual interviews, but your analysis, your
It's all
compilation
recorded.
of these things that says, okay, 20
Well,
people wanted this, 15 people didn't want that, therefore we're gonna recommend this.
Oh, we,
Well, legal counsel can
Right.
answer that.
So
About
the commission elected not to do a quantitative analysis. Their ultimate recommendations came from a qualitative analysis and studying all of the issues. It didn't come down to a simple calculation of 4 people were in favor of this, 2 people were in favor of that, so we're going with the majority. Their insight was much more nuanced than a simple majority vote as to what people said.
However, can
So-
I,
But the majority vote would support it.
Yes,
let
Well,
me go maybe clarify. Hi, I'm Corey Biller. I'm one of the charter study commissioners. Our analysis amongst our commissioners was all public. It was all during public meetings. We did not have any private deliberation. So if you're looking into what our individual considerations were of the various interviews and data we collected, that's all on the videos.
okay,
Very
so there's,
comprehensive conversation.
okay, so there's the granular data of like all the interviews, and then there's your recommendations, and in between you discussed it, but there's no
We discussed
in
it in
between.
public.
Yes, no, I
Everything was in
didn't say you
public.
didn't, I'm saying, so in between you had discussions of, oh, this is what we're hearing, but there isn't any quantitative middle analysis level of like
No.
summary.
Not on a quantitative basis, but the report does include, it kind of sums up the commissioner's deliberations that you could get firsthand by watching the video that's on the
Okay.
website.
Highly encouraged.
But then the analysis is
I
also,
watched a number of them, I'm sorry.
the analysis is also in the report in terms of kind of summing up all of those deliberations.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you, I just want to get a better understanding of what is in here.
I wanted to address the point about the quantitative aspect. The reason, at least personally, why we chose not, and speaking for myself, why I think a quantitative analysis is not necessarily the right way to go about something like this, is because someone might say, I believe X, and they have no justification whatsoever. Just because we decided to interview that person doesn't mean we should just add 1 to the X column. I think we were elected to use our judgment on the reasons for why X, why not X. And I think our purposes in interviewing was to understand the universe of reasons for why someone would support one thing versus another thing. Take the universe of reasons for both sides and make a deliberation and an analysis on that. So that was sort of my philosophy when I approached this. I think when you do a quantitative analysis of 10 people said this, 5 people said that, now you're really subjected to, well, which 10 people did you choose to talk to? And, there's some cherry picking that could be involved in that. So I think the way we went about it was, more resistant to something.
We also tried to create several decades of people who have served and business administrators that have been in their business for decades upon decades, including a retired VA from our town and other folks in that administrative role from other towns so that we could learn from them. And they also have histories, with their previous employers that they brought to the table. So we tried to really listen to the people that know what we potentially don't know, because we're not in positions of people who deal with the either council manager positions or TC or other forms of government. So we tried to learn from them, because none of us are experts in the field of how you govern, and we wanted to protect the future, to kind of future-proof and allow some optionality for folks on a 4 to 4 year basis, if this gets chosen, to have chances to change it if it's not working.
Thank you, Joanna.
Mr. Cosgrove?
Yeah, Mr. Cosgrove.
Yes, can you folks hear me?
Yes, Dave.
Yes, thank you, folks. Just a question, and this is with my personal hat on, not as a township committee member, but is it your conclusion, as a committee, that if this passes, if it passes, that partisanship is going to cease in the township, and that support from national and local political parties is going to magically disappear as a result of this? So that's my two questions. Thank you.
No, not at all. If a D or an R wants to put up a candidate, we welcome it.
Well, let me clarify. I think that this doesn't necessarily preclude local parties from getting involved in elections, but it does open the possibility that they will stay away from elections. And currently, there is no possibility that the parties are a necessary part of it. They're just part of the sort of construct. But this takes the necessity of partisanship out of elections. If the local parties want to get involved, there's nothing we can do about it, but at least this gives the local electorate the possibility that local parties are not going to be involved. And it also changes the type of involvement that they can be in local elections. So it's a real substantive change, despite the fact that there are some limitations that we can't control.
Well, I just want to add to that. Partisanship and partisan behavior is a personality trait, right? So it's not going to go away. That's not what this report is saying. But the institutional partisan elections that we have, that's what we're trying to say it's not working for our town right now. And as you read the report, you'll see one of the issues with that is it's kind of deterring a lot of potentially qualified candidates from standing for elections because they don't want to be branded as an R or a D. So people can stay involved. People can not use an R or a D against their name when they are campaigning. They're going to campaign on their own qualifications for the township council position. So nobody's saying or claiming that partisanship will go away just because of this, but it's a step in the right direction, is what the commission concluded.
That is correct.
Can I further comment on Chinook's, if
Yeah.
that's okay? I think also to bring up Chinook, to your point, what I think allowed me to think in a slightly different way, in a town that I'm largely aligned with, is, the charter study that Ben was mentioning. He was one of our guests who we interviewed, but he also came to a Sunday meeting that we had, and he spoke quite a bit, and I think he spoke really intelligently and poignantly, and gave perspectives where I have an alignment myself. I'm pretty proud of my alignment. I have been most of my life, not everybody, but my party, and I feel strongly about it. So he gave a different perspective, that he felt it was his civic duty to give another voice to people who weren't aligned to a party, and not to pretend like someone's going to, hide behind their non-label or their label. He's like, people are free to do what they want. People can research, and they can certainly say who they are. And neighbors will talk about it. There's no one saying it's going to magically disappear. It just levels the playing field to some degree to folks who may not have come out. And I think if we don't give that a chance, then we haven't served all the constituents in the town. And if we don't give it a chance, we have an out. Like, to me, this seemed like such a no-brainer once I saw it from his perspective, where he specifically said in public, and in I heard him talking to other people after the event, that he just felt like it was his right and civic duty to do it. And then he went and got elected as well, and he's felt really good and stands by his decision this many years later, so.
And the Ben that Joanna is referring to is council person from Red Bank. So he came all the way up here to
Twice,
speak to us, you know, so I
The part I
thought that
found-
was pretty impressive.
The part I found inspiring about Ben's story is now that they run in nonpartisan elections, he campaigns to the whole town. He'll knock on every single door regardless of whether or not they share his party. And I think he even gave an example of someone who he most definitely did not share national political views with, likely voted for him in the local election. And I think, you know, additional outreach to residents and education is always a good thing in my mind.
And also the mayor of Verona, you know, he was pretty incredible and everything, and the tone of the elections have gone way down, as some people in this room can
Yeah,
People should watch those
I just
videos, I think.
wanted to just highlight that Red Bank, since we're talking about them, the parties chose to not endorse local candidates, right? Obviously, that's not the Charter Commission's purview. That's not what we are saying or we are recommending, and that's not up to us. But there was support for even the parties saying, okay, we're going to kind of stay away from local elections and not endorse candidates. Parties can choose to do what they want here. We're not going to comment on that, but it has worked well in Red Bank so far.
And we did make recommendations, to your point. The recommendations that we did make is to help create a cohesive environment. And I think what I loved about one of our meetings where, you know, you mentioned, Ms. Shear mentioned,
No, I'm not this year.
oh my God, Doc, sorry.
Dr.
Frankel.
Dr.
Oh my God, Dr. Frankel, sorry, I know Dr. Frankel. I'm having a memory blip. Dr.
I
Frankel,
forgive you.
thank you. Dr. Frankel, I won't talk about Ms. Shear's meeting because I had different comments from her too, but Dr. Frankel actually suggested a really fantastic thing that I think we put in the recommendations is to have these roundtables and have community meetups on a regular basis.
Just to interject here, I have that in my recommendations, so
We'll be reading.
don't steal my thunder.
But I feel like that's what we want to make sure we listen to, and I think that's
Yes.
if we can go forward with things like that. I'll leave your thunder for later.
Next guest, please, Dr. Khan. Oh, Chris, go ahead. No, go ahead.
There's someone else. Chris Heinrichs, Melbourne resident. Certainly very supportive of all the recommendations. Thank you for your service. I too share Dr. Frankel's concerns of June 16th seems very tough to educate the public on a complicated issue like this. I've been paying attention kind of the whole time, so it's easy for me. But as I thought about the alternatives, which would be a November election, I'm glad the commission put a June date out there. Number one, it sounds like more time, but it's going to be a national election and the local groups would be running a partisan elections. So having participated in that circus last time, it is very hard to break through during a national election and a local election. So I fear that this issue would get less attention in a November election. Secondly, I actually think it's less costly to do it this way. We have to run a special election, which costs money. Assuming this passes in November, you'd have to run another election to elect the new council members, right?
Correct.
They
Correct.
would be. Which, so to me, it's probably actually more costly that way, but
When there are people running twice.
call it net, and then, assuming it passes, you would have had a bitter partisan election. Then the government would sit for 7 months. The new elections may not be till April, May timeframe. So I feel like we lose a whole lot of time. So although it sounds like, oh, June 16th, it's tough, I'm glad that you guys thought about it and are pushing that recommendation because it does actually make a lot of sense to me to do it because this is the only thing on the ballot. We can have hopefully a good discussion around it and not get distracted by other national issues.
That was our point.
That was my biggest concern.
Yeah,
too,
that
was
was our,
losing focus on,
Right.
because right now we have, thankfully, you gain momentum as you continue on a project. And when you make your recommendations is when you get the most attention. And whether people hate it or like it, that's when you get the most attention. Pitchforks come out or supporters come out, but regardless of what it is, this is the time, we have the attention of people. No one's graduating today. Yes, there's a special election tomorrow. I hope people vote, get out and vote. But that's so we have a couple of elections coming up, but again, we are separate. We are our own little small local thing. And it is our job to go out there and conduct roundtables and engage the public. And whether we agree with each other or not, be civil about it, but let's talk about it and make ourselves available as commissioners. I think we all pretty much make ourselves available as much as we can. I mean, I can't run any more public-facing charity things. I'm available. If you want to talk to me, join all of them. And if you volunteer, you can talk to us. I think everyone in this room hopefully will show up and volunteer.
Chair, can I make, sorry, Joanna, were you done? I didn't mean to.
I'm done.
I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm doing this math right, but the other point to think about is from a future turnout perspective in local elections, if we don't align, if this does get passed, we align with November 2026 being our first election in the new system. If we don't do that and we're doing it next year in November 2027, or May of 27, November 27, we will never have a local election that aligns with the national presidential cycle, right? Because if it's every 2 years and the first one is 2027, then from a turnout perspective, we know a presidential election probably has more turnout than not. If we don't do it this year, then we'll never have a local election that really coincides. So this way, from a future turnout perspective, doing it now is better too, was my view, unless I got that wrong in my math.
No,
That's
right.
that's a great point.
Right, we're trying to look at what we don't know, the things we don't know going forward, and that was an important point.
All right, we have a bunch of folks on Zoom.
And your turn. I have a question about.
Hello. I assume you can hear me?
Leah Cruz, how are you, kid?
I'm good, thank you. Well, just bear with me 1 second. I did write a couple notes down. I'm going to be very quick, though. I just want to thank you all for your hard work and being open to this whole process. And I feel like this commission is evidence that we should have nonpartisan elections in town. You guys are a diverse group politically. We have a female. It's not an all-white commission. And your decisions were unanimous. That's really impressive. You guys were open to the process. And hopefully our new town council will emulate your openness and your spirit of working together with the common goal of whatever is best for Millburn. So I just want to say I applaud your hard work, and I think this is great for the town. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a bunch of folks. JP?
Yes, hi there. It's Jean Pasternak. Hi. I've just joined.
I was wondering what JP was standing for.
It's me.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Jean.
No, it's okay. Joining everyone's efforts to commend your efforts that were just outstanding. Such devotion. I'd just like to follow on from Dr. Frankel's suggestion. As the Millburn Republican Committee Chair, I would like to invite my counterpart who's there today, Cheryl Desmarais, who's the Democratic Committee Chair, and the entire Millburn Short Hills Democratic Committee to co-host a bipartisan community town hall to discuss the issues related to the report recommendations if they're open to doing it. I say let's lead by example. Let's bring our community together as elected district leaders to debate and discuss in a professional manner. We can add to our first, I think, in a long time bipartisan effort that we made to do the well-received webinar ICE and Millburn, which we put together in less than a month. We have 62 days, and I am sure we can find a way to collaborate and do this. I want to add that on behalf of the Republican Committee, we commend your efforts. We believe the election and your deliberations have aligned with the community's desires. 2/3 of us voted last November for the commission to form, and you're giving our voters the opportunity to choose how we want to be governed. Thank you for listening to us, and thank you for your hard work.
Thank you, Jean. Bunch of
Charlie
people.
B.
Charlie B, you're on.
Yes, can you see me?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we can hear you.
All right, and you can hear
Go
me.
ahead.
I wanted to again commend you and thank you. I have to say and echo what Leah said. You people are role models for the entire community on just how the community can come together and put parties aside and discuss things openly. You certainly have been open and honestly, which you also have been. And the fact that you all came together for a unanimous conclusion in all of your votes is evidence of that. So you're the shining example that we should emulate. I'm frankly a little bit surprised by some of the folks in the community that this whole thing comes as a surprise to them. You've been meeting for over 4 months, to my knowledge, and all of your meetings have been public to the extent that they can be. All the interviews and all of your deliberations are the same. So. I'm looking forward to having a vote sooner than later. The time is now. There's no point in postponing this. Those folks that are jumping, trying to jump on board, the ship sailed 4 months ago, and you're standing on the dock. You didn't get on the ship. You didn't look at the videos. You didn't remote in and attend the meetings or read the minutes. You can go back and educate yourself. They're available. But I think the consternation about, gee, this is such a surprise, that doesn't hold water for me. So thanks again and good luck to you. And I really hope this passes because this town desperately needs to work together as you have shown us we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will say, while the ship has technically left the dock, we have many dinghies that we're willing to shuttle you on. You can jump on board, no problem.
But this is when people get involved. They come at the end. This is normal. This happens. I've lived here for almost 30 years. This happens with every big major event. I mean, Complete Streets people didn't say they didn't know about until it was a disaster to them, and they came out later. So it always happens like that. It's just, we lead very busy lives. You know, whether we're working, not working, volunteering, working, we live busy lives. So we don't get to it until somebody says, hey, did you hear what's going on? And that's normal. I fully expected people to jump on now. Let them jump on now. Let's have hearty discussions.
Thank you.
We have Ted Kuntz online.
Ted? Good afternoon, Ted.
You're on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Now we can.
Okay, great.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks. Yeah, long-term resident of Short Hills, and I totally agree with this charter study conclusion. My question is, where is the level of complaint against this, and what are the issues that people are bringing up who may be opposed to this? Is it just because they didn't know about it, or do they have some other concerns? And I'm wondering if you guys could address what those concerns could be. Seems to me like, since this is such a hugely bipartisan effort and unanimous conclusion on your part, I'm just curious to know what the opposition would say to this and what are their issues that they're bringing up.
I do think our report does summarize a lot of the counterpoints. Frankly, most of the counterpoints is tied only to the partisan, nonpartisan election part. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of controversy regarding the other parts. And I think it's important to remember that this is not just about partisan versus nonpartisan elections. This is about changing the form of government that better works for our municipality. One section of that, or one part of that, is nonpartisan elections, but the other part is sort of codifying the business manager, what we call business administrator currently, also the size of the what we call now committee, what would be called a council. This is multifaceted, not just about nonpartisan, but that is what seems to be the seemingly only sticking point.
Okay, that's what the opposition is focused on, basically, is what you're saying?
Yeah, in my impression, yes, that's what we've been hearing.
Okay.
Thank you, Ted. Anyone else there?
No one else wishes to speak.
Would you like to say something?
I just had a quick question, possibly more for
Council.
council on something that you said. You said that it's now our job as commissioners to educate the community.
Mm-hmm.
And my understanding is that once this is done, your role, the role of you disband and the role of commissioner ends, so
The former
that anything
commissioners.
you do, would it be as a private citizen that you would
Individuals.
not be lobbying or for this as a commissioner? Is that
That's
correct?
correct.
Discussing, but I think the
That's
educational,
correct.
the educational component, yeah, that is correct. So
Yeah.
legal counsel, you can answer the question.
No, it's been answered, that's absolutely correct. The commissioners' roles will be concluded today, and then after that, any outreach that they determine to undertake will be in their personal capacities.
And today we act as commissioners, but in the future, yes, former commissioners, I think it is still our duty to the public who elected us. You know, we're former.
Not questioning
Yeah.
whether you're
Yeah.
going
It's not in the
to
capacity of the
property,
commissioner.
what it, just not in the capacity of the
Absolutely.
commissioners. Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Yeah.
If I can add as one of the statements is, as a proponent of a nonpartisan election, say if you're going to be a Democrat in one of the Midwest states that are red in color, like Missouri or Texas, where I formerly did, your voice and your vote doesn't count. By going for a nonpartisan election, your voice and your vote is counted.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts with all the local level, grassroots level, and how we have it. And also, like, just want to understand and see that we read in the newspapers that there has been a lot of partisan politics that has increased the temperature to a tipping point,
Mm-hmm.
where it has led to certain mass shootings and other related stuff because of the polarity in the political thought that has led to this. So by going for non-partisan election, not only are we bringing down the temperature, but also we are community focused and bringing people together rather than dividing them on partisan lines.
That's correct. Thank you. Frank?
So I just want to commend the commission for all of your hard work. I know you guys have put in an enormous amount of hours. You guys have conducted so many interviews. We've had so many public sessions. There's so much recorded material. I mean, you guys did a terrific job. And I really commend you because I know, as personally as an elected official, I know the level of work involved in being an elected official, and you guys were elected to do a job, and you did a fantastic job. I would also like to say to the detractors out there, the beauty of the recommendation that I assume they're going to make is that we have a referendum. So ultimately, the residents of the town get to decide in a referendum whether they want the change or not. So, I think that all of this dissension about, what should be in the referendum, this, that, the other thing, when it should be, the fact of the matter is, we have plenty of time for people to get educated. The fact that dissenters are coming out now and supporters are coming out now in droves on both sides saying, either we want this or we don't want this, that's evidence that people are starting to pay attention. You guys have momentum, and that momentum, once the report released, I think as Parker Lentz pointed out, is only going to grow. So, I also commend you on having the standalone election because that allows people to be focused on just this one issue. If you had it on a general ballot, I think, as some others have pointed out, it will get lost in the noise of all of the other elections that are on that ballot. So I think this is really a smart way to do it. It's focused, and it also gives, if it passes, it gives people time to come together and campaign and run in November. If when you have 7 seats up, if this passes, and you don't end up having any sort of lame duck session, which if you had it in November, you would have that. So I think you guys you did a fantastic job. You made all the right decisions, and at the end of the day, the residents will decide at the ballot box. So if you don't like it or you didn't like the process, vote against the referendum. If you like it, you like the process, vote for it. I think it's as simple as that.
Thank you.
Chris, do you think it's wise to expound on that point one step further? in the event that it passes, if it doesn't pass, then life goes on, right? And then the work's been done, people have spoken, it's all cool. That's democracy, right? But I think if it does pass, I think people should be aware that it's in this form of government, we have choices. In the current form of government, there is no choice. You're 5, you're partisan, you are what you are. So there are choices. And I think what I also appreciated hearing from so many of the folks who were elected and told us the issues and non-issues and the business administrators and council managers, that the idea that there could be changes without a massive study. From 1972 to now, we didn't have a study, and it took this much to get a study together. People could decide that every 4 years they could have a change. If something's not working, right? Obviously, if it's working, you don't have a change. But if something's really grossly out of whack or disproportionate, people have a chance to use their voice to change things. And that's the part that I found much more appealing, that I didn't have to make a decision on my, as one of the 5 commissioners, that is unchangeable, because we don't know what we don't know. So if in 4 years we have found out something that we're like, that was an unintended consequence, there are things that can change. And I can, I know there's videos about it, but if anybody wants to summarize from a legal perspective, things that can change, perhaps we have more people watching.
I mean, the statute is clear, as we discussed, I believe, in the meeting, that was perhaps at the recommendation meeting. The statute is clear that if the referendum and the people elect to move Millburn into a Faulkner Act form of government, that is the point at which every 4 years, the voters can weigh in on the various aspects of the government. So that means the partisan, nonpartisan aspect can be changed. The size of the council can be changed. The staggered concurrent elections can be changed. Direct and indirect election of the mayor. Those are all things that can be tweaked without the need to go back and do an entire charter study commission process to change the form of government.
Thank you. I feel like there's some people who might not know the answer, and if they're not going to do a deep dive and want the cliff notes, I just want this meeting to give the opportunity to those folks to be like, oh, now I understand what that means. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I want to expand on that point, Joanna, that you're making, because it's important for the public to understand how we got to this point, because our starting point was, how is our government doing for us? And are there any structural deficiencies that we need to address? And the structural deficiencies were, hey, we have an annual election cycle. Hey, we cannot expand the size of our governing body. There is not enough delineation of executive and legislative power. There are all of the structural deficiencies that we learned about through our interview process and our studies, which even if we wanted to, the current form of government does not allow us to address that. So I want the public to know that the basic recommendation we are making is to move to a particular form under the Faulkner Act. And then, as Susan said and as Joanna said, there are various aspects of this council manager form that we can tweak in the future if we want to. But the fundamental recommendation is not just partisan versus non-partisan. It's about moving from the township committee form to the council manager form. And that really should get more attention from people than the 4 or 5 aspects like the size of the body, the at-large versus ward representation, staggered elections, partisan versus non-partisan, runoff or not if it is runoff or not if it's non-partisan. All of those aspects can be tweaked by the community in the future. And I want people to understand this form of government gives you more power as an electorate. There is no way to make a direct petition in the township committee form. The council manager form puts that power back in the hands of the voters. So, that we are not focusing enough as a community on those central issues and focusing too much on one of the aspects, partisan versus non-partisan. I hope as we deliberate over the next 62 days, we look at this report as a whole and not just focus on the one issue that seems to get the most attention.
Can I reiterate one more thing? I'm so sorry, but I want to say that I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I've said it before, but if we need the Cliff Notes version of past videos, if it's not working and it becomes like those aspects, any of those aspects, and people are like, hey, it's not working and hold me accountable, I'll be the first to say, I agree with you. It's not working. If it's not working, let's get together and create a large group of people to get the signatures we need. It's not that intimidating. You know, I think that if you have people behind you who are willing to do the door knocking and say, this isn't working and this is why, let's change this part of it. I'm happy to be a part of that change in the future. I'm not going anywhere. I plan on staying in this town with Chris Drucker until we kick, you know, it.
Right.
You know, we're here, you're stuck with us.
I wanted to add one thing to Chinook's point. One of the things we heard even before the Charter Study Commission, before we were elected, when we were filing our petitions with the people in town hall, they were like, can we finally get away from this annual election cycle? Because the annual election cycle has caused so many problems in this town, it makes it impossible to govern. Layer in the partisan with the primaries, now we have 3 months to govern. And we heard that directly from the mayor of Verona. And I think in order to get out of this annual partisan
They said if there's only one thing to
there's only
change,
one thing to
there's only one
change.
thing to
There's
change.
one thing to change. Get us out of this annual election cycle because they cannot get anything done in town hall. And the only way for us to get out of the annual election cycle is to go to a Faulkner form of government because the township committee form dictates to us that we must have annual partisan elections. And so for all of the detractors out there who are focused on partisan versus nonpartisan, please, please, please think about our poor employees in town hall who would benefit so much from not having elections every year. And you know, if partisan nonpartisan is your sticking point, know that the partisan nonpartisan piece can be changed in the future. But the only way to get out of the annual election cycle is to move to a Faulkner Act form.
Here, here.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Change is
Okay.
hard, change is hard. I think the bottom line is change is hard.
Yes. I now close the first public comment period. Are there any comments from the commission regarding any comments made by the public? I think we all spoke, so let's continue. I think I will, I'm gonna read this.
Sure.
Yeah, we have, before we vote on the resolution, we have made some observation regarding best practices in governance. So, bear with me, please. Introduction. The commission's work has reaffirmed that Millburn is a community with exceptional strengths. The current form of government is not one of them. The transition to a council manager form of government is an investment in ensuring that Millburn's finest qualities can flourish without constraints and structural differences of the township form. The following observations are offered in the spirit of that investment. Practical steps the commission believes will strengthen community bonds, deepen institutional knowledge, and build a governing body capable of serving Millburn well for generations to come. A regular community gatherings. The Bauer Community Center should host regular informal gatherings, bringing together council members, the manager, township staff, and residents. These meetings structured not as official public hearings, but as a relaxed community conversations, as Commissioner Parker Lenz alluded to, would allow the governing body to hear from residents in a context that encourages candor rather than formality. Millburn's greatest assets has always been its residents, their energy, creativity, and investment in the community. Regular informal contact between elected officials and people they serve builds the mutual trust that makes governance work. The commission envisions these gatherings as a living forum for the community's ideas, concerns, and shared sense of purpose. B, pre-meeting dinners. This was, I think Verona said this one. This
Mountain Lakes.
What, Mountain Lakes? Thank you. Pre-meeting dinners. The commission strongly encourages the new council to establish a tradition of informal pre-meeting dinners among its members. Governing a community of Millburn's ambitions requires not only policy expertise, but a genuine collectivity, a sense of shared mission that transcends individual agendas. With a 7-member council, this takes on special significance. The commission recommends that senior members take an active role in mentoring newer colleagues. We have, when we interview people, some past township committee people, when they came in, didn't know a thing, and their colleagues didn't inform them, didn't educate them. So this to Chris Drucker is very important. Where am I? With 7 members on the council, a quorum of 4, allowing for a senior member to meet informally with 2 junior colleagues without triggering Open Public Meetings Act requirements. This allows meaningful membership and team building to happen. Organically ensuring that institutional knowledge is passed on and that the full council functions as a cohesive team from the very beginning of each new term. Dr. Khan, will you please continue here?
Dedicated
I'm
grant
losing my
writing
voice.
staff. The commission recommends that the township invest in at least 1 full-time staff member dedicated to identifying and pursuing grant opportunities. New Jersey municipalities leave significant county, state, and federal funding on the table each year simply for lack of institutional capacity to pursue it. A dedicated grant writer staffed within the manager's office and coordinating with department heads would allow Millburn to compete more effectively for infrastructure funds, environmental grants, public safety resources, and community development dollars. The return on this investment would likely far exceed the cost of the position within a matter of years.
And let me elaborate on that, please. Other townships, and Dr. Khan did this study, whether it had partisan and nonpartisan, and believe it or not, nonpartisan got more dough from Essex County than partisan. So that's a very, very interesting point. Very good point.
Additional staffing for the manager's office. Millburn has benefited enormously from the quality of its business administrators, but the current structure concentrates significant institutional knowledge and operational capacity in a single person. The commission recommends that the township invest in additional professional staff within the manager's office, at least 1 additional assistant, to reduce key person risk, create more robust operational resilience, and develop the next generation of municipal management talent. The commission has observed that many of Millburn's former assistant business administrators have gone on to become business administrators in other communities, a testament to the quality of the township's operation. Building a deeper bench ensures that Millburn will continue to attract and develop talented managers while protecting the continuity of effective governance. You want to read the last one?
Oh, sure.
Or maybe Joanna.
Joanna, yeah, read that closing.
This is
All
what
right.
Professor Hagata,
All right.
I know you're going.
Millburn is a community that knows how to come together. Its residents show up for each other, for the schools, the local causes that matter. That same energy, channeled through a governing structure that gives it room to breathe and unite, will propel this township through its next chapter. The commission is confident that the changes recommended in this report, combined with the practices described above, will produce a form of government worthy of Millburn's people and ambitions.
Thank you. May I have a motion to authorize the chair and secretary to certify the April 15, 2026 meeting minutes following circulation to and review by all commissioners? I have a motion.
So just before we get into that motion, I know on the agenda it says review and adoption of report before we get into the authorization. Do I have to make a formal motion? Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna make a formal motion to move the first item of new business to the last item so that it is adjacent to the resolution adoption, just because the resolution adoption should be the last item of business. So we can do some of the administrative stuff. So I guess I formally make a motion to move the first item under new business to the last item under new business.
Okay.
Okay, I will.
Second.
Right. All in favor? Yeah,
Okay.
very good.
Favor.
All right.
So I will make this motion. I'll move to, or you asked for a motion.
There we are. We're all over this. May I have a motion to authorize the chair and secretary to certify the April 15, 2026 meeting minutes following the circulation to and review by all commissioners?
So moved.
Right.
I'll second that.
Second.
So before we vote, let's just explain the context. This is our last meeting, and so we can't approve the minutes of this meeting at a future meeting which doesn't exist. So this is just authorizing administrative ability to certify the meeting minutes of this meeting. So I had a motion from Corey and a second from Shawna, was that right?
Yes.
Or was it?
Okay.
Together,
Right.
unanimous,
And
two of us second.
all in favor? Aye.
Right.
Thank you. And we did,
So excuse me.
that's okay.
Yeah, and then
We did this.
So in addition to the meeting minutes, we're going to have to also authorize payments for our attorney.
Right,
Because we want to make sure you get paid.
So-
Thank you.
right. May I have a motion to authorize payment of future invoices from King Monarchs and Collins LLP related to the Charter Study Commission through the conclusion of referendum process following the circulation to and review by all commissioners?
So moved.
Thank you. Second,
I will second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right,
So
I think we should,
review and adoption.
yeah, I think we should do.
So prior to this meeting, I transmitted a copy of the final report to all the commissioners. Are there comments or anything else? I know we've been individually discussing over the last 2 weeks.
No, I have one little minor correction that 16 years should be 6, but that was a typo.
Oh,
Just in my bio, and it's nothing substantive regarding Jake's Ride. I don't know if it matters to anybody.
we should,
But we should correct it.
We should
So we'll just be moving to.
Yeah.
okay, so we'll,
The amendment.
so there'll be,
It's one digit, yeah.
so we'll have some time period to submit amendments to the report or,
Yeah, we'll just do it
Okay.
immediately after.
okay.
Funny, I didn't even read bio on myself.
Corey, do you want to just take a minute to do that right now?
Sure, I assume it's in the appendix. Hold on.
Appendix.
Yeah,
The rest
appendix
of the
B,
bio is
yeah,
correct.
yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like I've seen it at some point before, so I didn't.
Yeah, it looked right. Everyone else looked right. That's my one.
It's 6 years. It's
6 years. 6 plus. Say right, so it's 7.
It took me,
Yeah, it's accurate.
yeah. Took me 2 days to read this.
I mean, it doesn't include my time on the planning board, but that's okay.
Right.
Do you want to add it?
I'm just concerned about mine because my organization didn't exist for 16 years, so I didn't want them to be like, we didn't exist for 16 years, you know?
The only reason to add it is to the extent somebody sees it and it might add some weight to the recommendation since I've sat on 2 terms of the Milburn Planning Board.
Okay, so do we want to say a longtime resident of Milburn with his wife Lisa and 2 daughters, Corey served 2 terms on the planning board?
Yeah, and is in his 8th year on the blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
So served 2 terms on the Milburn Planning Board and is in his 8th year, okay?
Mhm.
And that's my bad because I know I did review this bio several weeks ago. So.
The bio file.
Yes.
Yeah.
My bio is less than more. Okay,
Are there any other?
anyone else? Chinook, are you okay with your bio?
Yes.
Good. Joanna, you good?
Good.
Right. All right.
So
Why don't you make a motion?
yeah, so there was a draft agenda posted to the township website that had outdated language for the ballot question, which got updated in the last 48 hours since we updated the agenda. So for members of the public who are here, we have copies.
This is the most current one?
Yeah, this is the most current one. I will just read out the differences. So maybe I will just read out the whole ballot question for the benefit of the folks listening over Zoom.
Is there another copy?
Yeah, we really,
This is the,
that one.
just the.
You got it?
Thank you, everybody. Well,
So-
I was good.
So the only changes were to the only changes versus the version that is posted on the township website currently is the explanatory question, which I will read out loud. Yes, they're stylistic, they're not substantive. So the voters of Millburn are asked whether to approve a change in Millburn's form of government from the township form to the council manager form under New Jersey's optional municipal charter law, Franz-Faulkner Act. If approved, Millburn will be governed by a council of 7 members elected at large to staggered 4-year terms through nonpartisan elections held every other November, beginning on November 3rd, 2026. The council as a body shall possess the township's legislative powers and shall determine all matters of policy for Millburn. The council shall appoint a professional municipal manager who will exercise all executive and administrative powers. The municipal manager shall serve at the will of the council. Currently, executive authority is exercised in part by a business administrator appointed under local ordinance. Similar to the current township form, the mayor will be selected from among the council by a majority of its members. Beyond possessing certain appointment powers and serving as the chair of the council, the mayor is an equal voting member of the council. If a change of government is approved by the voters, the first municipal election will be held for all 7 council members on November 3rd, 2026, and the new council will be installed on January 1st, 2027. After the initial election, there will be either 4 or 3 council seats up for election every other November. That is the change to the number state.
Thank you.
Corey backed off.
Where's Corey?
Yeah, okay, so Corey just dropped off.
Back.
Do a reset. So his Zoom disconnected and is working on it. So
Okay. So we want to vote on the motion.
yeah, so we can. Once Corey's back, we can go
Does he
around.
have to be Zoom or can we call him?
No, I would prefer that
Okay.
we get him back on the Zoom.
I got you.
That becomes impossible, we can deal with that if we have to, but let's try and get him back on the Zoom.
Here he is.
Oh. Corey, can you hear us?
Yep, got you. Can you hear and see me?
Yeah, welcome back.
Well, you're right.
Corey, when did you drop off and do we need to repeat?
Yeah, hold on. I'm pulling up exactly where it was. It was, you were at the elected at large to staggered 4-year terms through nonpartisan elections held every other November, beginning on November 3rd. It was the beginning on November 3rd is where it cut off.
Okay, so I will reread that portion. If approved, Millburn will be governed by a council of 7 members elected at large to staggered 4-year terms through nonpartisan elections held every other November, beginning on November 3rd, 2026. The council as a body shall possess the township's legislative powers and shall determine all matters of policy for Millburn. The council shall appoint a professional municipal manager who will exercise all executive and administrative powers. The municipal manager shall serve at the will of the council. Currently, executive authority is exercised in part by a business administrator appointed under local ordinance. Similar to the current township form, the mayor will be selected from among the council by a majority of its members. Beyond possessing certain appointment powers and serving as the chair of the council, the mayor is an equal voting member of the council. If a change of government is approved by the voters, the first municipal election will be held for all 7 council members on November 3rd, 2026, and the new council will be installed on January 1st, 2027. After the initial election, there will be either 4 or 3 council seats up for election every other November.
Thank you. Now, I'm gonna read the resolution.
Yep.
And then adopt. Okay. Now, we turn now to resolution 26-001. Resolution approving final report and findings of Milburn Charter Study Commission and recommending alternative form of government. I note that there is an updated draft of the resolution with updated language for explanatory statement for the ballot question.
So
You already read that.
So I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 26-001 as amended.
So moved. I mean, or second, I guess. I'll second your motion.
Yeah.
Right, second. All in favor?
We should do a roll call vote.
All right, roll call, Dr. Khan, please.
Mr. Biller,
Yes.
Dr. Kung votes yes. Ms. Parker Lentz,
Yes.
Mr. Tana,
Yes.
Mr. Drucker.
Yes.
All right, the resolution is passed.
Right. Good. Next. Public
Or
comment.
is that?
When,
Oh, we have. Yeah. So wait before. Okay, she wanted to just say that I'm trying to guess.
we already made the motion.
So the motion has passed.
The motion has passed, yes.
Why don't we just do a roll call vote that all the commissioners agree that as part of the resolution, we're adopting the report as
Okay.
amended.
Okay.
Let's
So-
just do that.
As part, so just to be super explicit about this, one of the items in the resolution is to adopt the report as amended. So this is the report.
That's the report.
Yeah, so the item 3, the commission secretary and attorney are hereby authorized and directed to submit an original signed copy of this resolution as amended and the report to the municipal clerk of the township of Milburn. So we just want to explicitly say that all of the commissioners are approving the report.
And the 2 amendments to the report that were
And
made
the,
today.
right, and the 2 amendments are
bio.
made in, during this meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
The non-substantive things
So-
about our bios.
Correct.
So we want to do a roll call vote again for, okay, so we'll do, I make a motion to
Clarify the commissioners.
clarify the commissioner's adoption of the resolution to capture the amendments that were proposed during this meeting to the report.
I second the motion.
Good. All in favor?
We should do a
Aye.
roll call.
Roll
Roll
call.
call.
Roll call.
Mr. Biller,
Yes.
Dr. Kung votes yes, Ms. Parker Lentz,
Yes.
Mr. Tana,
Yes.
Mr. Drucker.
Yes. Okay,
All right, great,
good.
thank you.
I guess we'll have.
It's part of the second document.
I guess we'll have a second public.
Yeah, we'll have.
All right, let's have a second public comment. And I'm very happy this is the last time I'm gonna say this.
In person first?
In person,
I think
right?
priority
Wait a
to
minute,
this one first.
speak during the public comment period, please follow these instructions. Ensure your Zoom display name shows your first and last name. Click the raised hand button when public comment is announced. You will be called upon in order and promoted to panelists. Turn on your video when called to speak. Clearly state your full name and whether you're a Milburn resident or business owner to facilitate an orderly meeting and permit all to be heard. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. A reminder that the public comment period is an opportunity for residents to share their views with the commission. Commissioners will not respond to questions or engage in dialogue during your speaking time, but will carefully consider all comments. And just to let everyone know, we never not responded to the public, just to let everyone know. Please, go ahead.
I just want to clarify 2 things and have it, answered publicly.
Okay.
The first is, should this resolution pass
Mhm.
and we have an election in,
Referendum.
no, if
You
it-
mean
the
referendum.
referendum
You said
passes.
resolution.
Okay, should the referendum pass
Yes.
and we have an election in November for all 7
Yes.
spots, when the public votes, they won't know, like, say, Chris, say you're running and I
My
wanna vote
wife
for
would
you.
divorce me if I ever run.
That's why I picked you. Not because I want, so,
Yeah.
and I pick you. I don't know whether I'm selecting you for a 4-year or a 2-year term, is that correct?
Goes into the pot and it's a lot.
Trust.
That is correct. The statute actually says that exactly as Frank just said, you draw straws. It's by lot, it's a random drawing, and that's how it's decided who will serve the truncated term and who will get the first term. After that initial election, everyone gets a 4-year term.
Okay, and then
Yes.
could you just announce now where everyone can get a copy of this final report
Yes.
It'll be posted on.
and when
Yeah,
it's gonna be
yeah.
posted?
Yes,
It's gonna be posted on, I'm
It
sorry,
will be posted on the township website
township website.
and when will that be posted?
whenever we get the time. But we
When-
will work as quickly as we can to get that done.
Yeah, the
Right.
township posts pretty quickly usually.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right, thank you.
we could give it to them.
Well, we also have to get signatures from Corey and Tronic and.
Right,
yeah,
right.
There's.
Okay, I just wanna,
It will.
ASAP,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I mean,
ASAP.
Soon, within 48 hours.
yeah, I was just about to say, it's gonna be like, let's say 2 days or something, you know, it's
We'll
not gonna be a
hopefully get
lot.
their signatures today,
Oh, we say
Yeah.
by the end of the week.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is 48 hours.
52.
Oh, 52.
51.
Gotcha.
okay, thank you very much.
What was the other, I'm sorry, did you have another,
Second question?
you have another question?
Or that was
Those were my 2
Oh,
questions.
oh, Jeff,
Again, thank you for your service. This has been a historical, transparent, open process and really look forward to the photo op of the filing of this resolution and report
Mhm.
and sharing of the report with the public. Thank you.
We have,
We have Mr. Cosgrove.
Dave, you're on.
Yes, thank you. I also wanted to say thank you, folks, for all the work. Thank you. That's it.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
We have Charlie B.
Charlie, you're on.
Yes, hello again, Charles Bambara, 30-year resident. I just wanted to address one more point, the issue of a standalone election versus having it coincide with other elections where there's a higher voter turnout, especially this first vote to pass the resolution and enact it. I think there's some advantages, as you've said, but I just want to say again, and I believe Corey had said this in an earlier meeting, there actually is an advantage to having a standalone election because only the people that have researched and done their homework and understand the issue are coming out to vote on it, as opposed to people that are going to vote on a governor or a president or a senator or something else. And, oh, gee, I'm at the voting booth, so I may as well vote on this other thing. Not much thought on how I'm going to vote, so I'll just, pick randomly or pick without knowing all the facts or listen to somebody else and what they told me rather than making my own mind up. I think the way you've done it with a dedicated standalone election in June will bring out the people that have done the homework, understand what they're voting for, and have a desire to expressly come out and vote on this issue and nothing else. So I think it's the right move. I'm happy you made that move, and I look forward to casting my vote in your favor. Thank you.
Thank you. Should we talk about the flyers now, the council?
Would you close the meeting? Or no?
Do that.
Okay. All right, I now close the second public comment period. Are there any comments from the commission regarding any comments made by the public?
I want to make a comment, but not about the public. I just want to take the opportunity, since this is the end of our final meeting, to thank all of you fellow commissioners for the just dedication and hard work. And I wanted to specifically call out Dr. Kung. As secretary, you sort of carried the heaviest burden of all of us, and you did it with extreme diligence. And I just, it was a pleasure working with all of you. But I also wanted to specifically call out Dr. Kung and thank him for all of the time and effort and work that you put into it. But all of you, it's been a pleasure working with you. I enjoyed the debates with you guys. I enjoyed the intellectual sparring back and forth, and think we came to the right resolution. So thank you all. I appreciated it.
Here, thank you.
I echo those sentiments, Corey.
Do you third it?
Let's also shout out for your representation of your outside council. They've been superb.
Yay, go council. Thank
Yeah.
you. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the kind words, Corey. I do apologize to everyone. I may be a little loopy today because I am operating on very little sleep, trying to get everything together. But I do want to echo the sentiments and say that it was a pleasure working with everyone. I think when we originally chose the round together, we chose to do so because we respected that we would all come into this process with good faith and actually challenge each other to, rethink multiple times. What we think one way, and then I talk to you, and I think another way, and then I talk to Corey, and I think a third way. I think that's how we come to the best decision, by actually having a conversation and debating the merits of all of the points, regardless of who said what. Actually looking at the arguments on the face of it and understanding the merits. And I think I would hope that any future council that does get elected would also operate in the same way.
Thank you. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
We need a second. We need a second.
I'll second.
Okay. Corey did it. All in favor? Yay.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
I mean,
Thank you.